Hi, I'm Melissa Martin. I'm one of the 3 counselors here at SUNY Broome in the Counseling Services Department. Today we're going to talk to you about wellness in college and how it will help your overall success. So today we're going to talk about wellness in college, the state of being in good health. It's important to define wellness and what it means to you. I'd like you to just think for a moment about what wellness means to you. It's important to check in on how well you are doing. We're going to explore wellness in several different categories, but before we start, let's talk about wellness. Wellness is a noun. It's the state of being in good health. Again, think about what this means to you and how do you define wellness. We'll first talk about physical wellness. Physical wellness is just to gauge how well you are doing physically, and we look at how much we sleep. Are we eating well? Maybe how much do we weigh? Have we gained weight? Have we lost weight? How active are we? We're not asking you to necessarily eat all fruits and vegetables, but when was the last time you had a fruit? When was the last time you had a vegetable? When was the last time you went for a walk or got outside? Just kind of gauging where you are in the spectrum of physical wellness. How active are you? Just as important, so I guess too, what I want to say is that not one of these areas is more important than the other in your overall wellness. Sometimes one thing falls off and we pick up on another and we're doing really well in one area and not necessarily in the next. So let's talk about emotional wellness. Emotional wellness is, questioning how are you doing? What is your stress level like? How are you handling college and life in general? Often we think we're doing pretty good and then we kind of look in the mirror and we realize, maybe we're not. What do you need to change? What are you stressed out about? Are you overly sensitive towards things? Are you too tired? Are you balancing things okay? It's important to check in on how you're doing in regards to emotional wellness. A good gauge in this area is often, are your friends and family kind of questioning, hey, how are you doing? What's going on with you? If they're starting to question how you're doing, it might be a good time to look in and see what's going on. The next area we're going to talk about is financial wellness. Financial wellness definitely is something that affects all of us. We all need money to survive. College is expensive. Life is expensive. Life of a college student often has a lot of things that we weren't necessarily expecting to have to spend money on. That can be rather stressful. The biggest stressor in life in general for most people are finances. So checking in on your finances is important. What does your budget look like? Where are you spending money? Are you overspending in certain areas? Do you really need to go to Starbucks and spend $7 on a latte? Is there an alternative version to get your caffeine and still feel okay, but also make sure that your bank account is doing okay as well? Looking at financial wellness and seeing how it might affect your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, your mental health status. I can say I know when I'm stressed out about money, I'm pretty preoccupied by it, and it often impacts other areas of my life. I wanted to take a break right now and just kind of talk about counseling services on campus and just let you guys know that we are located in the Student Services Building, room 210. As we go through each of these wellness areas, these are things that we help students work on. We help get you back on balance, get you back on track. If you're not doing well in college, you're often not doing well academically then. And that's why you're here. That's your job. So counseling services located in Student Services Building, room 210. We have licensed social workers. We have all had experience in the field of mental health for many, many years, and we're here to help you. Sessions are between 45 and 50 minutes. We try to see you at least every week, sometimes every other week if needed. And really, we are just here to help you succeed academically as well as emotionally, spiritually, financially, etc. So next, we're going to talk about spiritual wellness. Spiritual wellness is really looking at what grounds you. It could be meditation. It could be going to services, doing yoga, reading a good book. Question, what is it that grounds you? What takes you to a higher level? What helps you to be a better version of yourself? It's a good time to check in and answer some of those questions and to kind of write out a spiritual plan for yourself. When I speak of spiritual wellness, it doesn't mean that you have to go sit into church or synagogue or the temple for 3 hours a week. It could be that you're taking time away to meditate, read a good book, kind of explore nature. Spiritual wellness is definitely something that is personal And that often goes by the wayside when we're stressed out academically, financially, when our mental health isn't going that well. So it's something to definitely check in on. We're going to talk about mental wellness for a few moments. Sometimes students think, well, mental wellness and emotional wellness are often the same thing. And they definitely have a gray area that connects the two of them. It's a good time to check in on your mental wellness. I often ask students these 5 following questions. These are questions that you can ask yourself every day, every week, kind of when you're feeling off balance, and it's a good way to check in. Question number 1, how am I feeling today? Question number 2, what's taking up most of my headspace? Question number 3, when did I last eat a whole meal? Question number 4, am I tired? Question number 5, what will I do today that will bring me joy? Those are definitely questions to ask yourself and to do a little check-in. Our mental wellness is something that only we can gauge. We know when we're feeling really good. We know when we're not feeling so good. It's definitely something that's tied back into our physical wellness. If we're not sleeping well, if we're not eating well, if we're not taking care of ourselves, usually the first thing to show up in a more negative manner is that our mental wellness isn't really up to par. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-care. Honestly, I hate this word. I think self-care can be kind of judgy, but looking at self-care as what are you doing to take care of yourself? What are you doing to take a break from your responsibilities and kind of recharge? Self-care is something that's really personal, hence the word self. How do you define it? What is it for you? I have friends that self-care for them is watching scary movies and going to haunted houses. That would definitely not be self-care for myself. It doesn't have to be something that costs you money. It doesn't have to be something that costs you much time. I often suggest to students carving out 15 minutes a day to do something for yourself, or using the time that you're already doing something for yourself to use it to rejuvenate. We all have to, drive to school or shower and get ready in the morning. How can you turn some of the things in your normal routine into something that is, a little more motivating, a little more energy boosting for you, a little more taking care of yourself and not just the daily grind of life? Next, we're going to talk about social supports. Often when we're really stressed out or we're not really doing well in certain areas of our life, it's hard to gauge who's there for us. It's easy to turn to the negative thought processes that we often have of, I don't have anyone, I'm doing this alone, this is so stressful, I don't have a single person to turn to, no one will help me out. I'd like you to take a step back and look now and kind of write down 3 or 4 people that you might have identified as social supports for you, so that when you are in those moments of stress is getting to you, the academic pressure is a little too high, maybe you're financially burdened with school, maybe you're not doing well, that you can look at that list and realize that you do have people around you that can help you. And lastly, we're going to look at a wellness plan, a self-care plan. What are some things that you like to do physically? Write 3 or 4 of them down so that when you are realizing that you're not doing well, you can kind of go back to them. What are some things that help you out emotionally? This might be a good area where the people that are in your social support network, they may come into play right here. Or things that you do for self-care. What helps you to get back online emotionally? And then your mental health. What helps you to kind of stay balanced? This might be where, again, your self-care, your social supports, and or your spiritual wellness comes into play. I'd like you to just take a few moments before the semester starts and write down a couple things that help you in the physical area of your life, in the emotional area of your life, and in the mental health area of your life. Again, I'd like to remind you that Counseling Services is here. We're here 12 months out of the year. We're located in the Student Services Building, room 210. The easiest way to schedule with Counseling Services is either to pop in to Student Services room 210 and just let the secretaries know that you'd like to schedule with one of the counselors, or you can call 778-5210 and schedule over the phone. We work with your schedule and our schedules to make sure that, we can give you the best fit with one of our counselors. We're here 12 months out of the year, and our hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.